and every participants. One of the key things that we want to discuss during these workshop sessions will be what is the key challenges? What are the key challenges in building the regional and international alliances with the working class as the key agent in advancing towards the transition. We are still trying to envision what kind of transitions, what kind of future that we want to achieve. And in the meantime, we can start by moving on, by building something. And yeah, there are many existing alliances, initiatives in regional level, in international, including national and the local level. Yeah, there are many groups, and I'm sure everyone here also involved in different kinds of alliances or coalitions. And yeah, from your experience, G, what is the key challenge in building the alliances with more strong grassroots emphasize and focus?
Before I answer that, maybe it is better to describe because there are different kinds of alliances. No? There can be an alliance of just one sector, for example, workers, peasants, etc. No? Or can be, and there can be formal and non-formal. Meaning this is formal, it's not a network, meaning your member organization, if it's an alliance like the Asian Peasants Coalition, it's an alliance of anti-imperialist peasant groups in Asia Pacific. And they have a formal organization, meaning they are elected, no? The chair, the vice chair, the secretary general, etc. Then we have networks. Networks can be on issue base, like TPOLS is a network, no? The one that organized this with Sawit Watch and that will have a General Assembly tomorrow is one example of a network, no? Because its basis of unity is on palm oil. And its composition is also, can I say multisectoral? Well, there may be many labor groups or federations within Indonesia, but there are other groups, no? Like Sawit Watch, which is NGO. As we are a people's organization, but based in the Philippines. But there are also other groups, both local, meaning they are just based in their own countries, or some may be even regional, no? Because so that can work, no? The only problem now, it seems, but it may be discussed furthermore tomorrow, because there is like a certain disparity. There are more, because it says grassroots, no? For if it's palm oil, the grassroots should be the workers and the farmers. If they are smallholder farmers, because if they're landlords, we do not include them, no? And it is natural, I think, for the Indonesian groups in TPOLS to have the largest representation because they are more organized and there are more palm oil, maybe first biggest in Asia, no? Palm oil compared to Malaysia, no? And for us, for the Philippines, we had some organizations like FPPI Union in Caraga. Caraga is a region in northern Mindanao, but because of the specific characteristics of the Philippines, where there is great repression. So they were forced the military forced them to disaffiliate. And I visited one plantation which you saw in the documentary we had, that is in one part of Cotabato, no? Because Cotabato was divided into several provinces lately. But it's more of a peasant area, and the peasants or the agrarian for beneficiaries occupied the land. But because of repression, we have no contacts with them also, no? So for us, and the problem also, if you compare Philippines to Indonesia and Malaysia, palm oil area in the Philippines is very small, no? Even if it has if the government has a target of expansion of 1.6 million hectares, no? But it is less than 70,000 hectares, no? The majority in Mindanao and small areas in some small islands in the middle of the Philippines. So it's also natural that the three, originally the members of the Peoples in the Philippines were three, right? But now only two, as the Federation of Agricultural Workers, or UMA, and Center for Trade and Human Rights. But the FPPI union, no more, because they were forced to disaffiliate. No? For us, we are members of different regional and some international organizations or formations. Some are active, some are dormant. No? One dormant, because it's easier, is CAWI, no? Or the Coalition of Agriculture Workers International. AGRA is a member of that, and I'm a national council member, but it's like dormant, no? It's not active or very active. Maybe once in a while it comes out with a statement, but other than that, none, no? And it's international, but not so big, and it does not focus on a certain type of plantation like palm oil or what. Its unity is on agricultural workers. So it includes one member in Africa, Ghana, Ghana Agricultural Workers Union, and there's a member also in the US of mostly Latino farm workers in Florida, no? Mexican mainly. We are also part of the Asian Peasant Coalition, because in the Philippines, agricultural workers are defined by our movement as belonging to the peasant class, no? Because there are many agricultural workers in the Philippines. They became agricultural workers because of the monopoly of land, no? So we are a member of that, but the basis of unity is not also a certain crop, but it's more of peasant and different kind of peasant groups, including fisher folk, no? So you have agricultural workers, like in India, there's Apbuu in Uttar Pradesh, where they have agricultural workers besides peasants. Then NAPSO in Sri Lanka is more on fisher folks, no? And the others, of course, are the typical peasant. And in India, and I think in one other place in South Asia, including Dalits, no? It's like a caste, the lowest caste in those places. And there are more militant groups or alliances where we are part of. We are part of the International League of People's Struggle. The basis of unity is more political, actually, no? So not all but we are also in partnership with other groups, or like PCFS. I forgot the meaning of PCFS, but FS means food security. Members also of APC, some are members of ILPF, some are members of CAWI, no? But its advocacy is more on food sovereignty, which can be like release, and they lobby even the UN, the FAO, no? And they involved in those kind of activities, including this coming in one in COP 28 in Dubai. No, there's a caravan going there. I forgot the name. They will be there. So PCFS is one part of that. Then the other part, which is the other group which we are part of, and I think they know also, they relate with, is the PAN-AP, Pesticide Action Network in Asia Pacific. But actually, PAN also has other groupings in other places of the world, because there's PAN-US, but its focus is more on toxic chemicals, no? Which is used also in palm oil, no? Because in the earlier discussions, it was stated Indonesia you use paraquat, but it's also used in the Philippines. It's toxic, and there is a bill in the Philippines, but not yet approved by Congress, to ban paraquat in the Philippines and glyphosate. No, so many kinds. But for my own, because this is like a question answer, right? And I can have my own opinion. My opinion when it comes to setting up a formation, a regional or international formation for palm oil. For me, I don't think there's a need anymore, because we already have TPOLs. No? It can expand to other areas where there are also palm oil, including India and the one who from Latin America, like Colombia. I think that there is, right? So this can expand. And the other formations I mentioned, and maybe other groups, because they have their own regional, even international networks, or they are part of or in alliances, we can link up with them for certain issues, no? And TPOLS is also very helpful to us, because we are under attack. So it has also come up with some statements, or even translated some of our statements into Bahasa, which is very helpful to us, no? Because international solidarity is very important against repression. And we experience, especially me, I experienced the martial law of the dictator Ferdinand Marcos Sr., no? And international solidarity is very helpful, no? In like blocking some attacks on the people, no? And maybe one more. And maybe later we can also find out, because we want to strengthen especially the grassroots, no? In TPOLs, there are grassroots formations, organizations. If you want to involve more or strengthen them, it depends on the situation. Maybe it can be discussed tomorrow in the assembly. If we need to train more leaders, to train how to organize, and things like that, we can do that, no? Because we also do that in the Philippines, no? We did capacity building to what's this? Not to, because we need new leaders in the local level, not in the provincial level. In Negros, the National Federation of Sugar Workers, we need more local leaders in the barangays, the villages, etc. No, because that's your basic form of organization, or in the haciendas, or in the plantations, or even how to write simple press release, because it can be made into any language where you come from, and other things that will help strengthen and capacitate, or to have more what's this I forgot my English again. To help them more, essentially to help strengthen the basic organization in different ways, no? Even how to expand, how to campaign, how to organize, how to raise funds, how to get in touch with and get solidarity from other groups, both from inside their communities, inside their province, inside their country, and even outside, no? And maybe later we also engage with the ILO. Maybe I need also to raise that, because like earlier we mentioned that we submitted, no, UMA and the National Federation of Sugar Workers submitted complaints with the ILO, and they accepted it, and the ILO made high-level tripartite mission in the Philippines. None, no? But during Marcos' time now, they had, and was not Philippines with technologies, no? So what was good about it compared to the last ILO high-level tripartite mission during ex-President Macapagal's term, the ILO, even if it's tripartite, meaning its representation is composed of employers, governments, and trade union, it accepted, no, all the recommendations of the broad trade union movement in the Philippines, which is helpful also, like that. So, and we also engage with the UN Human Rights Commission, wherever we can engage that can help us also if we are like attacked, or if we want to advocate the conditions of palm oil workers internationally, we can also do that. And we can also help in maybe if we can help each other, how we can get in touch with this UN bodies. Actually, ILO is also with the UN. Maybe that's all I can share. But the most important thing, if you want to strengthen your alliance work, it can be local, it can be international. The basic always is that your organization should be strong. And the stronger you are, I guarantee the stronger also the support, the solidarity support you can get from others. Thank you.
Thank you, G. So yeah, the power is at the people, the real people, the actual people, not only just some kind of statements, but yeah, the real power is at the people who can mobilize, who can stop the productions, who can show the concrete solidarity. That's a good point from G. And then let's hear from Ram, where in India, where Ram is came from, the palm oil is started to expand. And yeah, we want to hear the stories, how the difficulties or challenge that you want to address in building the movement.
Do we have something there? Kindo will also comment later on. Kindo will also come in here. So, okay. Everybody is sleeping. People who are not sleeping, can I see your hands? Who are not sleeping as yet? Okay. Now we need to wake up, because I think we are going to close. I mean, like last day, but we still have a lot of energy, I believe. So I need some of your attention, because I think this is important, because it's not about, we're not only going to discuss about what is in Indonesia, the struggles in Indonesia, but also we need support from you all, from the workers union, from the NGOs, from the alliance, and all of that. And also not only from Indonesia, but also people who have worked on this, looked at this, from people from Philippines. We have people from other countries, Cambodia, from Africa. So what we're going to share is the new expansion of palm oil, the new territories that palm oil industry is looking at. is one of them is India. And I'm sure it is also in Africa, they're doing that, but also in India. We are being told lies, actually, I think, that in order to cut the supplies from Indonesia for the development of India, because we don't want to give you billions of dollars to buy palm oil from Indonesia, we will grow our own palm oil. But the same industry, the same guys, ones are actually the one, with my understanding, are the one who's pushing it. So they have come up with policies. So first, look at these India's palm oil imports. India is currently buying palm oil from you. On the problems, the struggles, the worries, all the problems that you see here, all the toxicity that you deal with, India, it's going to India. One of the main destination is India. And so Indonesia, look at 2016, 17, 18, 19, 20. I just have the data till 20. About 9 million metric ton per year is India is buying from. India is one of the destinations for the hard work you do here. We are consuming there. Who all consumes that? That's another category of thinking, like another level of assessment, but it's going to India. India is one of the destinations. We are also buying from, I won't even say we, sorry for that, but India and some corporations are buying from Singapore, Malaysia, Thailand, and others. So India wants to grow their own. So they come up with a policy in 2020. Next. So they have come up with a new policy and they have fixed targets. Okay, by this year, we're going to grow this much. By this year, we're going to grow this much. And 2025, 26, they're looking at about 1 million hectare. By the next 2-3 years, to 23, 25, 26, next 2 years, they're going to expand to 1 million hectare. And then you had to have other further plans. They'll add 1 million every 2 years, 1 million every 2 years, so that the supply chains will be cut off and it'll grow in India. But where do you grow? So you have 29, 30, so they have definite plan. So 29, 30, till that 29, 30, there is a plan for India to expand. What does that mean? What does that mean for our people? What does that mean for our farmers? What does it mean for our forest? All of that issues that we face here, and I'm so glad that I'm invited. You know, we are Kindo and I, we are so glad that we've come here because we see with our own eyes. We have seen it, we have visited, we have heard from you of what is happening here. And it's really worrying because this is a national policy. It's a national plan, and it is backed up with policies and money and funds and all of that. And if you challenge it, you know what governments are. If you challenge it, you'll also be put in jail. But we're not worried about that. What we see here, the problems of the workers here, the problems of the landowners, you can't even do anything with you can't even drink your water, you can't even eat your fish. That's a situation that we don't want to land up. So we need to come up with strategies. We need to come up with learnings. In fact, our visit this time is an alliance building process. We have learned something from you. We're doing interviews of some of you, and we're taking it back. We're taking back with some of the booklets that they will also be Tipos and others will be translating in English, and we'll also be taking it back, and the problems that women are facing. And we need to know, our people need to know what is happening here, what corporations are doing here. And that's what alliance building is about. And we want to, I think that was the last, is that the last second? Next, please. Okay. That's some idea of where things are going. This is not, to my understanding, this is a government data, but this is not completely true. But then I will not go into that, but this is a plan the government of India has in terms of palm oil plantations in India. Next. So what they're doing, so they're assuring people, very enticing right after COVID, when people are so, in so much of difficulties because of COVID, economy was bad, a lot of poverty around, and this policy came in the picture. They're asking farmers to join in. So what they're doing is, so they will assure a price, even if there is a global fluctuation of price of palm oil, they will still assure that I'm going to buy at this particular price. They are giving, for every hectare, you're giving $350 every hectare that you plant, plus special assistance of per plant. If you would just to take care of one plant, just to make it grow, they're giving you money for that. Nursery assistance, if you set up a nursery of 15 hectares, you get $10 million. That's assured. As already money has been sanctioned, and people have already started setting up nurseries. Seed gardens, if you want to do seed gardens, you're getting $5 million. And there are many other enticing schemes that the government is coming out. So people are going into it, and that's how we got scared, really scared, because before we came here, we didn't know about we didn't know about sawit. We didn't know about palm oil. So we read, we download from materials, a lot of them from Indonesia. We see videos of what's happening here. Then we also have some activist friends. We call them up, what's happening there. So that's how we got to know, and that's how we landed here also. So we are also gearing up on the ground. What does it mean to gear up on the ground? What does it mean to prepare the ground for us to fight back? Is something that requires a little bit more thinking. But I find that for the last 20 years or so, 2 decades of activism, that one, the movement, the workers' union, the union activity is very weak in our region. That is one. But I find it quite strong here. But of course, a lot of work needs to be done. But also the NGOs, we also have strong NGOs, strong network. But sometimes the NGOs tend to overtake the workers' issues. People on the ground, they just kind of skim through. They're more concerned with international, that kind of network. But also, I'm not saying that those are not important, really important, but also a real groundwork is required. We need to work with the farmers. We need to build farmers union, workers union. We need to understand what is happening, the kind of processes, not just the impacts, but the kind of dynamics happening here of the workers and the farmers and the NGOs and other networks that is there. We need to understand that more better. Maybe we'll have it more, more interaction tomorrow again. But we have some already, like the tea workers union we have, who are also impacted. They already have some system in place. And in fact, palm oil is also eating up into tea plantation areas, and they want, those are issues that I'm sure Kindo will raise. We have in the region, we have the mining network, we have the dams network and indigenous peoples, AIPP and others, we're looking at indigenous issues. I think we need to also kind of raise these issues at those forums so that our issues are also taken on board. For us, it's completely new, looking at palm oil. So we have a lot to learn, and we will definitely look forward to working with groups like Sawit Watch, T-Poles, and others to learn. And this is a learning lesson for us. Maybe in the next year, 2024, I'm thinking maybe some of you can visit our farmers group there, tell us about your experience there. I think we should do something about it like that, some sort of an exchange like we come here. If some of you can also, meeting there, that will be very helpful. And I think I'll end with that. Maybe Kindo, if you'd like to say a few things.
Thank you. Thank you, Ram, for giving an overview of the oil palm plantation in India. I come from a different plantation sector, the tea industry. So I have a little bit of experience on, how corporates function, how they treat their workers. What is the issue? What are the issues which the workers face? The problems, and these problems that you all have articulated in different sessions are no different for the tea plantation workers. Be it health, be it education, be it wage, land is a very important issue, which I think not only in India, but across the world, the plantation workers are demanding. I was very happy to see when during our first day, when we went to the field, interacted with the workers. And, that was a very rich experience for me. And I really could see the kind of challenges, the kind of difficulties that people are in. And for me, it was an important learning also because, I see there are a lot of common issues on which, the plantation sector workers can, come together. Any product which transcends, national geographies, the workers working in those industries should come together to unite so that, the issues, that are connected with globally, the corporates where the corporates are involved. The voices has to come from different corners of the world. And that's how we can build greater solidarity. And, we can, make ourselves heard and then have a decent living. The palm oil industry in the Northeast and particularly Assam is not new, as far as I know. But this is coming up very slowly. And there is no organization which is really talking about palm oil. There is no organized, discussion around this issue. We have seen in the state of Mizoram, where the palm oil first started, palm oil plantation, but that has failed because of various reasons. There are no mills, there are no buyers, so things like that. There are technical difficulties in that. In Assam as well, there are, now the government plans to expand to 100,000 hectares of land. And it has selected most of the, Upper Assam districts, meaning like, on the Brahmaputra Valley, and also on the western side of Assam, which are tribal areas. And we know that Assam or the Northeast is a very delicate region in terms of biodiversity. We have the Eastern Himalayas region. We have the, Indo-Myanmar kind of region, which are biodiversity hotspots. And we have a lot of endangered species. It's a very delicate balance of nature. And, what the activists, those who are, concerned about the palm oil cultivation also express that it will eventually lead to food crisis because we are an agrarian economy. And particularly in the Northeast, people are of tribal communities, and tribal communities depend on the natural resources. They also depend on the medicinal herbs, the plants. We have several of them in the Northeast. And if palm oil is cultivated on a large scale, then I think the government also needs to think of how to preserve the biodiversity of the Northeast region. While it is important we become self-sufficient in crude oil or maybe palm oil, because there is a lot of demand in India, but at the same time, I think there has to be a strategy which does not deplete the region's biodiversity, people's livelihood. It gives good remuneration to people, and it helps them to improve their lifestyles. I know from the experience that we have had here, we have seen here, gone around here, heard from you all. These are something, it doesn't seem to be possible. So I think we need to have at the national level or at in our own area, the discourse on palm oil, the expansion of palm oil in the north. Because at the national level also, we haven't heard so much about discussion around palm oil. So the benefits and the if there are any other consequences, then that needs to be discussed for India. And because we have experiences of monoculture in the form of tea, but tea is not that devastating as the palm oil that we see here. but the use of chemicals, the fertilizers, the pesticides, this is also polluting water, and it gives rise to so many diseases, and particularly women are affected in their health. Like I was hearing about the the women's issues, and very similar issues are being faced by the women in the plantation, in the tea plantations. There are various kinds of reproductive health issues. There are issues related to skin. There are issues related to respiratory, functions. The other day, somebody was, somebody had given a timeline as to how women spend their time in the plantations from 6 in the morning till 4 or 6 in the evening. I mean, the cycle is so heavy that it becomes really very difficult for women to to manage everything. And I was so happy somebody said this morning during the discussion that men should also help the women in at least giving them a cup of coffee or something. I think that's a kind of huge burden that women face, including in the tea plantations of Assam. And if this is going to further impoverish the communities who are in the plantations, who are working in the plantations, or who will be working in the plantations if the palm oil comes into Assam, then I think it has to have a different kind of strategy, because we do not want another impoverishment of the the tribal communities, the communities who are so dependent on the ecology, on the environment, and we have a lot of rivers, we have fresh fish. And the rivers here are polluted. You are not able to eat the fish that is there around you, and we do not want such kind of development. We need environmental protection. We need food security. We need better health working conditions. We need decent working conditions. And I think we need to learn from each other. And as Ram was mentioning, I think we need to have greater exchange programs like this in different areas, where maybe you all come to India sometimes. We need to have this kind of exchange programs on a regular basis, so that, and devise different strategies, so that we are all moving ahead together. Also, we need to also look at certain situations in countries, because time is not very good for activists in some countries, because the corporations use the government machinery to silence the voices which are coming up from the ground. So I think we need to also take into consideration all these aspects while building alliances, and be sensitive to the region's geopolitical development. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Kindo. Anyone wants to respond, or Fahmi? Let's go with Fahmi first, and then let's have more open room for everyone.
Thank you, Rizal. I'd like to also respond to the question about this sessions. What are the key challenges in having working populations-led movements and alliances towards just transitions? I think this is important, focusing on working population, working class. But first of all, we need to identify what are the key challenges we are having in terms of workers, working class, or working populations. First of all, we have to have a broader perspective on labor movements. Labor movements is different with labor union. Labor unionism is not labor movement. So I think let's be clear on that. Labor movements comprise of different initiatives, not only from those who are working in the factories, but also those who are supporting from behind, the intellectuals, the scholars, the researchers, the social activists who are providing informations for the struggle of workers in the factory. That side, we need to have, broader perspective of who are the working class, who are the working populations. Working population are not only those who are working in the factory, but also cover different range of those who are working as informal workers in the plantations, street vendors, domestic workers. They are also part of the working class. So that side, I think we have to be broadened in our perspective when we said that what is the workers-led movement. That's more theoretical, but also based on our experiences in building the alliance. I just want to also close with reflection from what we are doing in our networking works within TPOLs. So reflecting from what we have done in the past and we have been doing, this a network, just give you an example, Transnational Palm Oil Labor Solidarity TPOLs network is also, it is not a finished work. Like I said last night in the evening in that sessions that we are building solidarity, and solidarity is finish. That is, it is remade and remade and remade. We have to rebuild and rebuild. So that solidarity should be. The other point is that from reflecting from what we are doing in the networks, the network should be flexible, open, and inclusive. It should be creating or providing a platform for exchange. I agree with Kindo has said. A platform or spaces for exchange and collaborations. And that should be flexible. We cannot be strict with mechanisms that hinder our our response, because we need a response, a quick response. The reason why we have to be inclusive is because our movement should be able to unify the fragmentation, should be able to unify different responses from, or should be able to consolidate different approaches, different priorities, different focuses on the ground. So sometimes we have like ad hoc network or ad hoc collaboration or ad hoc working group, very focused, for example, on water pollution, and then next day we can the next stage we can also more focus on other issues, for example focusing on occupational health and safety, chemical exposures, pesticides exposure on workers, and how to respond to that. So this kind of alliances, networking, collaborations, it's not easy, and we need coordination on this. So having experiences in the past from TPOLs, I think that's a quite good learning for us how to collaborate in the future for this just transitions. And lastly, I think doesn't mean that we have to stick with one network. We can have another different networks, and to have different expertise and priorities I think the important thing is to coordinate and to have collaborations between different initiatives. That way, I think we can start our exchanges, collaborations to make it our struggles more effective. Thank you.
Yes, thank you, Fahmi. We can have more open sessions for everyone. You can share your own reflections, your own opinions. For example, it is open for Bu Maria, Emmanuel. What do you think is important in building alliances? What is the key principles? What needs not to be compromised? For example, I think we agree the safe space for women is important, so we can put it as one of the key principles to not be compromised at all, or whatever you think that is important. Or you can also share your own reflection involving in any kinds of alliances or coalitions in any level. Is there anyone wants to share? You can speak in Bahasa, you can speak in English. Sorry, we have only two options, language options. Okay, and anyone wants to speak something?
Okay, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Mbak.
My name is Dia. I'm from Singkawang. I want to ask him for this thing. In India, maybe you set an issue for people near for palm oil or have a change about the weather like that.
Can you repeat your question?
In India.
Yeah.
Maybe have issue about people near from palm oil like that, and maybe about the weather have too much change or not.
Yeah, is there any change caused by the palm oil to the surrounding areas in India? In one village, for example, is it impacting to the water?
We did a study, preliminary study in a state called Mizoram, which is also next to my state. It is not as intense as we see here. The intensity of demands that the companies make. So the farmers have their own land and they cultivate in their own land. Which is a bit different from here. It seems here the company has sort of taken over the land and you work in the companies. But here in our case, so there's not so much of an intensity, which I think that intensity is going to come with this new policy. But we find that the women are the major problem, because in the palm oil area, in the previous kind of subsistence economy, women takes a major role in livelihood activities. But because of the hard work that is required, this is one of the findings. That is that hard work that is required, only men do it. So women hardly takes part in the palm oil industry. The other is that the biodiversity has increased, the food basket, food choices have decreased. So it becomes very monetary in their life, like about cash and buy it from the market. So those things, those trends are already visible. But we haven't, like birds population, animal population have decreased. those are visible, but not the contamination on river. All those things has not really been seen. But as I was saying, with the companies demanding new trusts coming in, we are likely to see these kind of problems that you see here.
In one of the districts in Assam, we are also facing now the effects of climate change, and Assam is not having the regular kind of rainfall that we used to receive. So sometimes in summer we have a lot of rain, there is flood. Sometimes the monsoon comes late, but just like so during that time there is no scarcity of water, but from October until, let's say, March, April or so, it's dry. There is no rainfall. And what happens is that, the groundwater goes down, and we are seeing a depletion of groundwater in many parts of the state. And people are now compelled to put, borewell or submersible wells to pump water. So there is a scarcity. So this is not on a large scale. Now in India, in the northeastern part of India, the farmers are marginal farmers, meaning like having less than 5 hectares of land. So that is the situation. But if it grows on a larger commercial basis, then we can imagine how the situation will be. So yeah, I mean, there are issues already, we are beginning to see. Yeah.
I will switch to bahasa. Ada yang mau komentar, Bung?
Baik, terima kasih. Saya Ali. Kalau mungkin ada baiknya ada cerita pengalaman bagaimana T-Pulse yang pertama yang lebih panjang ya, pengalaman-pengalaman pembangunan itu menurut saya penting karena secara khusus saya juga belum terlibat selama ini di T-Pulse. Mungkin juga ada teman-teman yang lain gitu. Karena yang kedua hemat saya dalam pembangunan aliansi ini, karena yang utama kita tahu bahwa kita masih mengalami problem yang di akar rumput, masih butuh penguatan yang cukup karena dari melihat pemaparan 2 hari ini banyak sekali masalah teman-teman di buruh, teman-teman di masyarakat adat, teman-teman petani di lokal semua berimbas, termasuk di lingkungan. Jika demikian, hemat saya bahwa ini harus isunya luas gitu ya. Berarti kalau just transition palm oil industry, berarti seluruh isu yang kemarin sudah 2 hari kita diskusikan menjadi fokus dari platform ya kira-kira yang akan menjadi perjuangan perbaikan di dalam. Kemudian dengan demikian kita membutuhkan kerjasama juga untuk memperkuat tadi itu di akar rumput. Jadi aliansi ini juga bagaimana saling dukung penguatan. Dengan demikian dibutuhkan di masing-masing wilayah menurut saya penting ada koordinasi yang itu bisa bekerja sama, bisa solidaritas, bahkan sampai penguatan sampai ketika solidaritas perjuangannya. Kemudian berjenjang saya kira tapi tidak tahu nanti kebutuhan kita apa, tapi pendapat saya bahwa dalam konteks problem yang demikian luas dan dalam perkebunan kelapa sawit, termasuk juga saya kira di berbagai negeri, belum lagi nanti menghubungkan di rantai pasoknya, ini dibutuhkan itu jenjang dari aliansinya. yang perlu dibangun hingga sampai bagaimana di internasionalnya. Tapi kita punya setidaknya punya platform. Kalau pendapat saya dari semua paparan yang kemarin akhirnya menjadi satu platform. Jadi setiap isu yang terjadi kemudian ini yang bisa direspon, solidaritas bisa dibangun. Tapi pada yang paling utama adalah bagaimana juga bekerja sama untuk memperkuat di akar rumput karena ini kunci bagaimana kita memastikan bahwa just transisi itu juga memang mendapat dukungan yang paling kuat dan yang saya kira yang paling kuat memang gerakan di akar rumputnya. Nah, level-level selanjutnya adalah bagaimana kemudian menghubungkan saling solidaritas dan saling dukung yang pekerjaannya saya kira bisa ditentukan secara berkala dan dengan demikian ini dibutuhkan semacam komite dalam pengurusannya. Itu yang tergambar ya di saya, tapi jika memungkinkan saya mengajukan untuk pengalaman teman-teman di Tipol selama ini. Saya kira itu dulu dari saya.
Ya, terima kasih Bung Ali. Saya agak bingung karena besok itu sesi lanjutan, konferensi berakhir hari ini. Besok itu akan dilanjut dengan pertemuan jaringan Tipols. Aku sebetulnya nggak berani menyebutkan pertemuan anggota jaringan Tipols. Lebih merasa pantasnya menyebutnya pertemuan jaringan. Karena selama ini belum pernah ada definisi apa itu anggota. Orang banyak keluar dan masuk, ikut bergabung, ada yang di awal, ada yang di tengah, ada yang hanya sebentar, dan tidak ada yang masalah sebetulnya, dan juga karena itu pun memberikan banyak dinamika. Nah, sebetulnya yang tadi aku bingungkan, ada rencana kita memang akan membahas lebih banyak soal Tipolsnya di pertemuan besok hari. Apakah kita lanjutkan sekarang saja atau disambung besok? Pendapat teman-teman. Kalau mungkin singkat cerita ya, supaya nggak nanggung. Ada beberapa perubahan-perubahan dalam